Good day, ma'am. So I, together with my other members, like Adikala, Michelle Cabadonga, and Jason Kadompang, are going to discuss about our given topic in this video. So we are now at Module 6, Unfolding the Spiritual Self, which is the given topic in our group. So this module is centered towards the self-spiritual side. The various facets of spirituality are comprehensively addressed, including existence, relatedness or links, and the inner soul. So let's dive into the section one, which is the inner soul. The section one in this module, which is entitled spirituality. So this section examines what spirituality is, how it differs from religion, what influences someone's spirituality, and how it affects them personally. So spirituality. The concept of the whole person is usually associated to the idea of human beings as having physical and psychological aspects. So the whole person, so typically the idea that a person is a complete person includes the notion that they have both physical and psychological components. So kadalasan what identifies a human being when it comes to his or her aspects or components as to life. So, di ba, we have these components which are emotional, physical, spiritual, social, psychological, and professional. And this made up a human being. And that which is focusing on these six aspects of whole person development allows us to live a balanced life and a successful life. So the physical domain includes the biological facets of human development, such as growth, maturation, and other physical changes. So, dito sa physical domain. Physical domain are physical appearance ang ato mga itsura and all the aspects or what you call this, all the qualities that you can see in a person, particularly to his or her individual physical appearance. So, um, and it identifies us to the maturation and the other physical changes, the growth and human development. And so, ang biological or how can you pronounce this? Biological na mga aspeto sa paglambo sa tawo, apil ang pagtubo, ang pagkahinog, at ang taglaong kaina, o uban pang mga pagbago sa lawas. So here it lies in this aspect. And then the psychological component includes developmental elements that center on consciousness and qualities that are not readily apparent but are nonetheless manifested in behavior. So, di ba, when we talk about psychological aspect, it entails the brain, the mind, and our behavior. So, what made us think about a thing, then it will be a driving force towards action, and that determines our behaviors eventually. So, ang ato psychological nga sangkap nag-apil sa mga elemento sa pag-usbag nga nakasentro sa panimuot, which means consciousness. When we say about consciousness, di ba, it involves thinking, it involves a cognitive aspect of an individual. Sa mga panimuot o mga kalidad na dili-dali makita apan bisan pa ni ana gipakita sa pamatasan. So the spiritual portion of oneself, however, is a third component of being human that is equally significant to the two preceding elements. So what are the two mentioned aspects earlier? So they are the physical and psychological. And the third one, which is next to that, is the spiritual self. So di makumpleto ang ato kinabuhi. No. Dili makumpleto ang aspeto sa ato kinabuhi kung wala ining spiritual self. So in the complete self or the whole person, it should include all aspects of life for us to have to to come up with a success, to come up with a standard of life, to have a balanced life. So bisan pa adunay or naay usa ka ikatulong nga aspeto sa pagkahimong tawo nga sama sa kahinungdanon sa duhang nga mga pasiuna. Ang espirituhanon nga aspeto sa kaugalingon. Kung sa Bisaya pa, espirituhanon, the spiritual self. So despite extensive research on the subject from academics and researchers in a variety of fields, a consensus definition of spirituality has yet to be reached. So daghan na kaayo ang nag-attempt para i-define ang spirituality. O gitun-an sa nakalain-laing i-define og maayo ang naag diha sa kahulugan na spirituality. Ug ang pagka-espirituhanon kay nakailap nga gitun-an sa nakalain-laing akademiko or studies ug nagpabilin ra nga idlas sa mga definition sa pagkanaay sumbanan nga kahulugan. So meaning ang ang consensus nga kahulugan sa pagka-espirituhanon kay wala pa jud makabot. So the spiritual self, which emphasizes the interaction between the mind, body, and spirit, because the spiritual self, it really encompasses what we call this one, encompasses, yes, our mind, body, and spirit and soul. So it is a continuing individual life journey that is framed by one's cultural background, interpersonal relationships, natural surroundings, and the quest for purpose in life. So gipasabot ra nga spiritual self, um um di ba, it really is, it really emphasizes interaction between mind, body, and spirit, and it usually framed by one's cultural background. So, before or until now, spiritual self really is a product of one's cultural background as the days wear on. So, and it only tells us that, according to the Bible, the words that are taught by God will really get you into the quest for the purpose in life or ang pagpangita alang sa katuyuan sa kinabuhi. So there are several definitions that have been formulated regarding spirituality. So according to the first definition, made up by Wachowski of 2014, spirituality is the aspect of the self that is associated to an individual's process of seeking and expressing meaning and how she or he is connected to the self, to others, to the moment, and to everything else that composes his or her environment, including the sacred and significant. So he only means that um, spirituality is the process of seeking and expressing meaning. So, so, di ba ang individual, when it comes to spirituality, he should seek the true meaning of life. What is behind that? Who is behind that? And that is connected to the other self, to others. So he spread those words. He asks questions. He shares his the lessons that he learned, the facts that he learned about the true meaning about life, and then he composes to his environment, including the ones that are only significant and secret. And then, according to Beauregard and O'Leary of 2017, their definition about spirituality is that it is any experience that is thought to bring the experiences in contact with the divine. It is not just any experience that feels meaningful. So, according to them, spirituality is something that is you have a connection with the divine. So, meaning all things that are created holy, you have a connection to that, something that is taught to you, especially the Holy Bible, and then the stories that contains that, being with connection in that, and also also not just an experience that feels meaningful. So it is beyond that thought or notion about the significance of life. So it is more than the divine. And according to Sinek of 2002, his definition of spirituality is also posited as the individual's personal relation to the sacred or transcendent, a relation that then informs other relationships and the meaning of one's own life. So just to translate that is ang pagka-espirituhanon gipahayag nga personal nga relasyon sa individual, sagrado o transcendente. Ang relasyon nga napahibalo sa ubang mga relasyon ug ang kahulugan sa kaugalingon nga kinabuhi. So they have really similar or related definition because according to Sinek also, spirituality is a personal relation to the sacred, and then the relation that informs other relationship about the meaning of one's own life. So being in connection with the sacred, so it is something about to read the Bible, being connected to pray with to pray to pray with God, and then being informed about the divine creation, and then to spread these words to the whole world. I mean to the other people, so that your purpose in life is to materialize that, to fulfill that. And then to the last, what do you call this? to the last figure, are they figures? And to the last person who defines spirituality accordingly is from Mayers and his colleagues, them, of 2000. So they defined spirituality as the personal and private beliefs that transcend the material aspects of life and give a deep sense of wholeness, connectedness, and openness to the infinite. So there's something about personal and private beliefs. So in your own personal and private beliefs, you believe about something. So and then and then it transcends or it is beyond material things in life. So it is more on in spirituality, or you have this divine connection, deep divine connection. You have this something like a connection of the true meaning of life, and having a deep sense of wholeness, connectedness, and openness to the infinite. So something like you have to carve out, you have to dig into, you have to find the true meaning of life and what lies beyond the infinite life, or what lies beyond the what do you call this? Our second life, who created us, where what destiny we're going to be at the end of the day. And so that is how his colleagues and years defined spirituality eventually.
Spirituality is a natural part of one's developmental processes. Its biological influence is rooted in how it is initially based on the awareness of what happened in the environment. Further, in the search for identity and ultimately the self, it is important to contemplate about the here and now, as well as the future. However, people are not born with innate spirituality. It is something acquired as a result of various personal, social, and environmental factors present throughout one's lifetime. In this regard, spirituality is related to religiosity, which is often used interchangeably with the former. There are, however, distinct differences between the two. First, spirituality talks about meaning and purpose that go beyond the physical realities of life. Going through development, people are inevitably programmed to make realizations about life, and those insights are not always about observable phenomena or environmental experiences. Phenomena happening in the environment and personal experiences. One goes are observed, and subsequently, meanings are assigned and philosophical rationalizations about why they happen are achieved. While many researchers have said that there is a need to discover the meaning of life, what one should ask himself or herself is, what meaning do I put in my life? The meaning and rationalizations one make influence the way life is viewed and become the basis for one's value orientations and personal standpoints. The meaningfulness of life is assessed if it is worth living. Third, spirituality talks about the sacred and transcendent. It is a general belief that in the vast universe there is a force higher than the self. In believing that death is inevitable, the different beliefs of what comes afterwards shape how people choose to act and live their lives. The search for sacredness is also triggered by the drive to attain peace and life fulfillment. Acceptance and or contentment is fostered and established despite problems that may occur. A second aspect of spirituality is focused on a person's connections to different aspects of his or her existence, to other people, to nature, and to sacredness and divinity. Spirituality is rational, in the pursuit of and applying meaning to one's life. Relationships are created and sustained, not only with people, but with other life forms or with a higher being. The way people relate to others, to family members, to peers in school, and to the nature speaks of an individual's core values.
Religiosity is defined as the adherence to a belief system and gratizes is associated with a tradition in which there is agreement about what is belief, and practice is a formal attachment to the set of beliefs, values, and practices of particular religious sect. Kanang it is defined sa pagsunod sa ila sistema ng paniniwala o ang butang na ay koneksyon sa ila. Like kanang ilang mga tradisyon na naa sa kasunduan ko ug kung unsa ang tinuohan o ginabuhat apil na dito ang ilang mga specific practices, prescriptions, diyan ilang mga naandan nila og mga ginabawalan kung unsa ang angay buhaton og dili dapat buhaton. A specific community that shares the same beliefs and practices, while it is true that spirituality is not in it but developed religiosity can be a starting point of spirituality specific practices like going to church and participating in religious events are usually practiced by individuals through the influence by others or because ato parents sa mga particular na ginabuhat nila like pag-adto sa simbahan, pag-join sa mga events na connected sa mga relihiyosong mga buhatonon na usahay ginabuhat nato as an individual. Tungod sa mga impluwensya ng laing tawog, mga kilayan nato ato mga parents. And dili lang sa parents na sa mga teachers na mutabang para mas huge pa ang ato pagsabot about sa importansya about sa pag-attend sa mga gawaing pang religion. And also sa TV makita sab nato na mga channels na naga-share about religions para mas makasabot pa taog ayo. However, as one grows older, he or she begins to arm questions. Diri na part sa ato life is ang pagsugod na ang ato ka curious and realization about our pananampalataya. If religiosity is communal, then spirituality is individual.